All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight is just Keith and Chris. We're going to jump into some MLB trade predictions, where we think who are going to be some buyers, who are going to be some sellers coming up for the trade deadline here at the end of the month. Before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the push for 300. It's free to you guys. Really helps us out, grows the family. For all of those of you who are subscribed, we love you. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Make sure you drop us some comments and some likes on those videos. The comments, we'll get back to you with anything that you put out there. Just make sure that if what you put out there, you can back up, because Chris is going to fact check you if something doesn't add up.
Yep.
And then with the likes, definitely make sure you smash that like button. Really helps us get those videos out there for more people to see, and for hopefully more people to come and join the family. So, like I said, we're going to jump into what we are looking at for some major league trade predictions, where we think what teams are going to be buying, what teams are going to be selling. What are some of the hot names that are out there right now, both offensively, defensively, and pitching wise? So we'll just go ahead and jump into it here. Chris has got a big name out of Washington up here right now, Lane Thomas, who's quietly having a very good year in Washington.
Yeah, I
mean he's hitting 300, 14 home runs, 50 RBIs, OPS at 850. So he's having one of those years for Washington where he's just doing what he's supposed to be doing, and is really helping his team out a lot. It's going to help him potentially get paid by somebody. So, but I'll let you go into what you were going to say about him. So.
Yeah, Lane has been in the league since 2019, but hasn't really had this kind of season. Last year he batted 270 and had 7 homers, and so.
Well, the year before that, he probably was when he was behind Soto. So he didn't really have a chance to get out there. Now that he's got a chance to be out there and play every day.
Yeah, sorry. Last year he batted 241 with 17 homers. Sorry. So the year before he batted 270 with 7 homers. But This year, really, coming into his own, he's 27 years old.
Playing every day.
Every day, 300 average, like you said, 14 homers. I think there's somebody that's going to be buying outfield. Like, in my opinion, maybe the Rays could be buying outfield. Yep. Atlanta could be buying a left fielder.
Well, with the way
Yankees need outfield depth right now because they can't stay healthy.
Yeah, the Yankees need a lot of things. Going back to what you're saying about the Braves, I think the Braves, I personally think they could use another left fielder, but I think where they're at right now with Kevin Pillar and with how Ozuna's come along and Rosario have both come along, and they're both hitting over 250 now.
Yeah. I
don't think they're going to go for an outfielder as much as we might like to see that happen.
Yeah.
I really think their focus is going to be on the pitching, which we'll get to here shortly. But I definitely agree with you. The Yankees would be a good place for Lane Thomas to land. Tampa would be a really good place.
I like Minnesota could really use another power bat. I think they could use outfield.
Who could use would be the Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers can't stay healthy either.
They love trading with Washington.
Absolutely. So they could definitely be one of those teams that could go in there and try to pick up old Lane Thomas.
Yeah, so I think Lane is a little bit older than Washington probably wants for somebody to really invest the future in, and so getting some picks back, getting a nice prospect back makes a lot of sense for Washington.
Especially with how hot he's been, you can definitely jack up the price a little bit right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So. You're gonna have to say this guy's name because I know he's brand new to the league. Came in and is in Boston. So
Machida.
Yeah, however you say his name. So, but fantastic season for him so far. I think Boston is gonna have to probably choose to sell. I'm looking at the standings with them. They're sitting so far back. They're 13 games back of Tampa for the division. They're I think 5 or 6 games back right now of just a second wild card spot. No, they're 7 games back of the second wild card spot. So
there's still a lot of baseball. I think they could potentially turn that around. I don't think Machida would be the one that they'd get rid of, only because they just signed him and they just paid him that money to come in.
He's 30 years old though. You paid him.
Well, most Japanese players that come over are in their late 20s, early 30s when they come over because they've already played 10 years in the Japanese leagues.
Yeah.
So just look at Ichiro. Ichiro came over at 26, 27, but still hit 3,000 hits. But
by the time he turned 40, yeah. So I just think I look at somebody and I say, okay, Boston's not winning this season. They may not. They're more than likely not even going to make the playoffs this season. 30 years old, guy that people could feel a little comfortable with the contract they got him in and stability.
Yeah, it's only like a 5-year 150, 5-year 175. I mean, it's not a bad contract for
somebody that's batting 301 with 9 homers. So
right, yeah. I mean, he definitely has some draw. Another person out there in Boston that would have a lot of draw that I don't think that they're going to part ways with would be Verdugo.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I think they like Verdugo enough to keep it because he's young and he was part of that Mookie Betts trade.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's gonna be their everyday starting right fielder for now until he either retires or they don't want him anymore.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised for for me a team maybe this. I think Josh Turner honestly could get a lot, or Justin Turner could get a lot of
to come in and be a DH somewhere, play a third in a pinch if you
first
need him.
base,
if you need him to do that, I mean he could have a lot of looks. There's nobody on that pitching staff that really blows me away.
Well, how there are so
I mean you could definitely look at trading a Josh Turner or Justin Turner or the Machida guy.
I don't see Boston getting rid of Verdugo or Rafi Devers.
Not for the contract they just paid. They just signed Devers. They're not getting rid of Devers.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they can get a king's ransom for Devers, they're not gonna get rid of him.
Yeah. It's a little bit of an outfield trend. We'll switch it up once players coming soon, but I think there's a lot of outfielders that people are piquing interest with. This one, Andrew Benintendi, 28. It's been shopped around a bit. 281 hitter, only 1 homer this season, 23 RBIs.
I think he's on a shitty Chicago White Sox team.
Exactly, and I mean, right now, I really just feel like the White Sox are going to sell a lot right here at the deadline.
Yeah, they're gonna trade. They're gonna probably get rid of Benintendi. They're probably gonna get rid of Tim Anderson.
Yeah,
they're probably gonna get rid of Lance Lynn, Dylan Cease, and Lucas Giolito.
I don't know if they moved Dylan Cease, but Lucas Giolito and Lance Lynn were already on our pitcher slot. So
yeah, I mean those two definitely get moved. The only reason I say Dylan Cease is because he's had a down year.
But another team to keep in mind right now, the Central is so open in the NL side. The Brewers or the Reds, which are the top of that Central right now, could both be looking at outfield.
I think they could be, but I think the Brewers, depending on what they do in the trade by the end of this trade deadline, I've also seen a lot of rumors about them maybe dealing Corbin Burns.
Yeah,
I mean because they can get a lot for him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen them say. So I guess it depends on which way they want to go about it. But if they decide to invest in their team, then obviously going out and getting like a Benintendi or
Elaine Thomas
or Machida from Boston, that could definitely help them in their outfield.
Yeah. Another guy that I think we've seen a lot got traded at last year's deadline, but Toronto, they seem to kind of be rotating a lot of people, playing time wise. Whit Merrifield back again, All-Star, 285, 2 homers, 32 RBIs.
Yeah, I was going to say he actually made the All-Star team this year, so I mean he's doing better than he did his last couple of years in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So
I mean he's certainly back at it again, and it's somebody that gives you some versatility between second base and play second base. So. Teams that might be interested in them. Again, I'd probably say
still the same teams that we've been talking about. I mean, the Yankees could look at going after him too. The Yankees were interested in him when he was coming out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, Gleyber Torres is such a consistent for them right now.
But he can play the corner outfield where
he can play corner outfield.
Because Judge is out right now. Giancarlo Stanton can't play outfield to save his life anymore.
I mean, Ketel Marte's headed to the IL, so maybe second base at Arizona. Maybe Arizona's going to buy in.
I think Arizona's potentially going to buy, depending on what they do too. Because there's been talks about them trading off Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. So I mean, there's been some rumors about that, but I think they invest in their team because they really like where they're going.
Yeah, Whit Merrifield, 19 stolen bases this year.
Good for him.
Back to stealing some bases.
Back to stealing bases. That's good for him.
Healthy, back to stealing bases. So
yeah, that's good to see.
Probably the best I would say the best second baseman on the market, honestly.
That's out. Yeah, that's out there right now.
A little bit of a surprise this year. He's actually on our fantasy team. But
Elias Diaz. This dude has been breaking this year.
32 years old catcher. So a little bit of the up at age, but man, there's some teams that. I always think of Houston. I always look at Houston and say they need a catcher. They need a catcher. They need a catcher. Maybe this is finally the guy that gets them to pull the trigger.
Well, I mean, it's either him or another name. Homers for us. Darno's name is out there a lot for a big trade piece.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Elias Diaz this year has been pretty. I mean, he's been pretty unstoppable. I mean, he's hitting 280, has 9 home runs, 45 RBIs, OPS above 750. So I mean, he's definitely doing what he needs to do to either get himself out of Colorado, or
get himself an extension.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the guy's been in the league since 2015. He's a 248 career hitter. He's had double-digit homers twice in 2018 and then 21.
He's going to have it again this year.
He's going to have it again this year. But he's come nowhere close to batting 280 in his entire career.
Yeah, here he is hitting 280 right now.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is, if you're going to buy catcher, and I definitely think, again,
Houston definitely needs
the catcher. Houston is the one that needs the catcher. Even Arizona has Carson Kelly they feel really good about. But
Carson Kelly's name is going out there to be a trade piece too.
Yeah, I think Arizona buys, man. I think Arizona buys
too. I think they've seen that they can compete with the Dodgers, and they know they can go out there and beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So I definitely think Arizona buys in this year rather than sells.
Final one, not as likely to probably get traded at the deadline, but people have been all over this name for probably 2 years now. Probably would be the best outfielder if anybody traded to get him is Bryan Reynolds out in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh started the season so hot. People are also interested in McCutchen, but he wants to make it final season here in Pittsburgh. So,
right. Well, the problem with Pittsburgh is they've lost O'Neal Perez Cruz. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, he's out. He's out for the year. Or is he majority?
He's out basically to the 1st of September.
Yes, so, I mean he's out for basically the entire year.
Yeah.
Brian Hayes is hurt. You know, their young core that they've kind of assembled. I think it's going to be hard to trade him now because they gave him that extension.
I don't know that I would say that. I think there's some security in that extension for people that are going to like. We always like to say it. The Yankees can pull some money. The Dodgers can pull.
Well,
they have the money to buy him.
Well, they do, but I think his extension was what 8 for 200.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really not that bad, but I don't know. I think that could either hurt or help them, but I think with them giving him that extension, I don't think they move him.
Yeah. I think
especially this year because his numbers are down from what they've been in the past.
Yeah, and I still think he's valuable enough for a team that really wants to make the big move. And so somebody that's going to go get that.
He has value. I mean, there's definitely value in him.
And truth be told, if I'm Arizona and I'm serious about going, I would think about going and getting him because that gives you such a great and a switch hitter too. Like it just gives you such a great bat to solidify your chances of being real. So
no, I mean that's true.
All right, we're gonna flip over to the pitcher side now. We got a couple names. One that I've always kind of liked, and I think he's having a really good year right now. But Toronto seems to be possibly on the move for letting some people go here and kind of giving up on their
their season's
run.
not been that great this year.
So Kevin Gausman, who
he
just baffles us how good this guy's been in the last 2.5 years.
We trade for him in Atlanta. He can't do shit. He goes to San Francisco, has a sub-3 ERA and strikes out 200 plus.
Yep.
Then he goes to Toronto, has a 3 ERA and strikes out 200 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, guy went 3-7 with Atlanta, with a 6.1 ERA. And then 4 straight years now of 6.2 or lower on the ERA. So maybe just need to get a little older.
Just striking out a crap ton of people.
Yeah, maybe just need to get a little older. So
nice righty. Could definitely be one to go out. Yeah.
Yeah, nice righty though. 7-4 this year. 3.04 ERA, 146 Ks. I think.
Yeah, 1-1 WHIP. So I mean,
he gives somebody that's purchasing probably a really good number 2 in my opinion.
Yes.
A good solid 2s, a really elite 3 maybe in the rotation. So
right, I agree.
Depending on who goes and gets him. So name that's been linked to Atlanta. We know all about this guy, Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, Monty.
So big 6'6" lefty, University of South Carolina grad. 6-7 this year. Record-wise doesn't speak real great, but a 3.2 ERA, 91 Ks, 1.2 WHIP.
But St. Louis has been the laughingstock of the Central Division this year. So I mean that's why he's at a 6.7.
Yeah,
I don't think his record shows how good of a pitcher he's actually been this year.
Yeah, don't go look at our NL Central predictions because they're very wrong.
Way off.
Very wrong.
Way off.
So,
but yeah, Monty would be a great 3-4 guy for any rotation that he goes to. Obviously, Atlanta, I think needs to make a big push for a starter. I think he'd fit in great in Atlanta, especially since you can throw him in there with
Strider, Gordon, Soroka, yeah.
But we had a lefty too. Who was the lefty that we?
Max Fried.
If he can come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 solid lefties with 3 solid righties to go out there and pitch.
Yeah,
so.
I think if you look at the ideal rotation for Atlanta, let's say they add Monty, you got Max Fried, probably followed by Spencer Strider, followed by Charlie Morton, Monty, and then Bryce Elder at the 5, and who's been pitching fantastic.
Bryce Elder had a fantastic year.
Yeah, so
Monty might be a great addition to whoever wants to pick him up.
Yeah, the last 2 names are probably not going to be huge surprises here, but
Shane Bieber's out there.
Shane Bieber's probably the biggest ace, I would say. That would be.
He's the biggest name that's on the block.
Last name that I've been kind of watching. It's a little bit of an odd, again, leap to it, but J.P. Sears is somebody that people have been.
Oh, he's from Sumter.
He is from Sumter. I don't know which high school he is. I'm guessing he's probably from Sumter High School, but
most likely.
Because 1-6 with a 4 ERA.
But that's just because you're playing in Oakland.
Yeah, exactly. But this is actually a guy that
he's been a very consistent pitcher for them.
He's also gotten really hot of late. Because I want to say give me his splits. Yeah, last 30 days he's got a 3.6 ERA.
Yeah, so I mean he's been very consistent the last month.
Yeah. Yeah, the month of May he had a 2.94 ERA. So guy that's just getting a little bit hotter, getting a little bit more comfortable, and when you got a lefty like that, people will buy
lefties all day long.
So
especially those that they can either start or put in the bullpen. Again, that was our predictions, or what we think could happen, might happen, potential happenings in the trade season here for Major League Baseball, since they're down to less than 30 days now. The trade deadline's the 31st.
Yeah.
4 p.m. on the 31st.
Yeah.
So less than a month. So if you think we're right, we think we're wrong, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you think is going to be a buyer, who's going to be a seller. And as always, like, comment, subscribe.